I think thoughts that I know I should not be thinking. I act in ways that my soul knows is so very wrong. But it feels as though it's not my body that acts and performs. I see things that don't exist or happen. And I don't know whose eyes I see them with, but they are not mine. Words and actions are changed in a split second. Voices are muted and subtitled in my mind. Conversations are changed like Chinese whispers and translated into whatever the hell my demons want me to feel and believe. Faces, they're all blank. And each and every one is staring at me. And the reflection in my mirror, it's not mine. And I have not been myself for a very long time. Okay, so this is the video I've not gone through because I just wanted to wax lyrical and just see where it goes, really. I'm just gonna, as I talk about see where it goes, I'll just let that car reverse off the driveway and then maybe I'll start again. Then they could be there for a while. Butterfly. Mental health is incredibly important to me. And that bit of writing, well, the poem prose thing that I just did there, I wrote that when I was in my very early 20s. And this was a very dark time for me. My mental health, my life, everything was in absolute ruin. And when I thought about recording this video to talk about mental health, I was going to do it in the comfort of my own home, you know, no wandering ears to eavesdrop. But I kind of thought, you know what, let's make this significant. You know, that piece I recorded in the dark because that's where I was. And now I'm the most balanced I've ever been in my life. I'm the closest to the person I want to be that I've ever been in my life. So why not record this video in the open, which is where mental health issues should be. So, you know, I don't know who's around who could be hearing this, but one of the most important things with mental health is that we communicate and that we're open with it and we talk about it. Because for me, the biggest problem I had growing up was feeling that I was totally alone and that everything I was going through was my fault. You know, that it was a curse and that I deserved to feel that way. Maybe if I'd have contacted someone like mine, had a conversation with them, I'd have been able to realise it wasn't my fault and that there were things I could do to make my life easier so that I wouldn't waste the best part of 20 years of my life in complete and utter chaos, darkness and pain. But I want to start off, really, before I talk about myself too much, with this hashtag mental health. For me, it's become a fashion now. You know, it's like everyone says, you know, what's the point of taking a knee with football for Black Lives Matter and you know, eradicating racism? It doesn't do anything. Well, it does because people are talking about it, and that is the point. Hey, did you see that game last night? They're still taking a knee. What the hell's that all about? It's in conversation. Yeah, it may not look like a grand gesture, it may not change the world, but it's creating conversation. And that's what society needs, positive conversation. But this hashtag mental health for me has become a fashion trend. You know, it's like thrown around for no real reason. And the way I feel is that it should be more than that. You know, it should be about what your mental health aspect is. So hashtag split personality, hashtag bipolar, hashtag depression. Because then you are actually getting into the nitty-gritty of what these issues are. You know, if you break your arm, you don't go hashtag broken bone issues, do you? You know, you're specific. And if we were more specific with mental health, it would reduce the stigma. If we say we've got mental health issues, people can deal with that. If you go, hey, I'm bipolar, they'd be like, whoa, okay. Yeah? If more people used their willingness to express what they're going through in a direct way, perhaps we'd be able to target those areas and see what the real issues are in society and what we can really do to help those people who are struggling. I know not everyone is keen on labels, and I agree. labels are an incredibly damaging thing, but also labels stop you putting arsenic on your chips, yeah? You know it's vinegar. There's no harm in a label. The only harm that comes is a stereotype that is attached to it. And if we see more and more people being honest and open about what their mental health issues are, it will reduce the stigma, it will reduce the stereotype. But, you know, that's just my opinion, don't ever go at me for it. We're all entitled to our opinions, and that's another thing. People need to be free to express without, particularly on social media, people just jumping all over things and having a go at you. There's a reason why a lot of things don't change, and that's what I call the bigger tree syndrome. In order to make ourselves feel tall, we prefer to rip down bigger trees. Because as that tree's falling, it gives us power. We help bring that down. Celebrity culture is the same. As soon as any celebrity does something slightly dodgy, everyone's got a point of view. Everyone's having a go at them. Everyone's going, I'm better than them. It's the bigger tree syndrome. Because it's harder to look within yourself and find the nutrients in life that make sense to you, and then grow yourself bigger and taller through that way. It's harder. It's quicker and easier to tear someone else down. So for me doing things like this, there will be trolls that will jump all over it and have a go at me. Absolutely there will. But I don't care. Stop myself swearing. Because I'm beyond that point now. And I know that if I'd have seen something like what I'm trying to do when I was younger, maybe I wouldn't have been so messed up, you know? So that's how I feel about mental health, and that's why Mind is one of the charities that ROC is riding for. Mind are basically champions. They will lobby the government on behalf of people who are affected with mental health for change, for positivity, for inclusion. They've also got support lines to help you if you're struggling. It's just a super, super charity. I never used them because I didn't know they existed. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what my issues were, I think, unless I chicken out, maybe. I don't know. I didn't know these things existed back then, you know. I mean, yeah, Childline and Samaritans, but I don't know. I always found, when I rang Samaritans once, and I've got a problem with authority a little bit, not like, you know, a rebel or anything, but I feel that a lot of the counsellors I saw were from textbooks. You know, there weren't really people who'd gone through stuff. And I was first sent to a counsellor by my parents. I had my first suicide attempt at 15. I took an overdose. Obviously, I'm survived, I'm still here. And it was because of childhood issues and all sorts of other things, but I managed to deflect it onto school and exams and that kind of thing, and they believed me. So, you know, I didn't get any help for what my actual problems were, so that might be why it didn't work. But I got sent to this counsellor for, you know, dealing with stress and anxiety. And it was awful, man. I thought it was just stuff in films, you know, like, well, if you're not willing to speak about how you feel, perhaps you could draw something. I mean, come on, have a laugh, right? That's not what you want. And I've always struggled to talk to people directly because of automatic responses. You know, if you say, look, I'm really struggling today, they will go, oh, it could always be worse, couldn't it? You know, you've got Africans starving in Ethiopia, as it was at the time. You've got war and famine in Sudan. You're like, yeah, don't mean I can feel better, though, does it? Because pain is relative. And just because someone else is apparently suffering more than you, that shouldn't take away from your right to feel. You know, if our memories were wiped and we swapped lives with somebody, they would still moan because they don't know better. You have a right to feel. You have a right to hurt. You know, as horrible as and as dark as these feelings are, it's human to feel. And we should be allowed to feel. I'm glad that car came to stop me ranting. Because here's the real weird thing about, like, my mental health issues, is when I tried to kill myself for the second time, I had this really weird moment where I was like, it's so surreal wanting to kill myself when I haven't even lived yet. And as weird as this sounds, suicide became my best friend for many, many years, because I lived by the idea that if I try this and it goes wrong, well, I'll just kill myself then, right? But in doing that, and then discovering travelling and discovering cultures and philosophies and ideas, the healing just started to erode that fear of failure, that fear of trying stuff. And I no longer had those awful dark thoughts. You know, I no longer had the fear of what I could potentially become or do. So I stopped travelling, I went back to college, did my GCSEs, got into university, got a first class degree, then did a master's degree and got a first class master's. So, you know, it's like all these things I was told I could never be, even by people, you know, my teachers at school, being told how worthless I was, how pathetic I was, how ugly I was, that I'd never amount to anything. That just held me prisoner for so many years. And perhaps if I'd have found that healing sooner, maybe I could have achieved the life that I want, which is to be in the creative arts. But unfortunately, discovering the creative arts at 32 years old, not going to drama school, not having money to attend auditions across the country, you're just not going to get anywhere near the door, let alone get close enough to knock on it. So that dream kind of went. So that's the last piece of the puzzle for me, is figuring out a career that I want, that I can be happy with going forward, and, you know, provide for my family and have a great life with Kirsty and hopefully kids. So it's been a long, long road for me, but the most important thing for me is keeping the awareness of mental health, doing what I can to raise awareness of mental health. You know, at the end of the day, it's just a bloody bike ride. You know, it's nothing amazing. It's not going to raise huge amounts of cash, but as I said at the beginning, if you don't have the courage to stand up, and if you don't have the ability to take people laughing at you or taking the piss out of you, then you're going to sit straight back down again. And I don't want to be sitting down again. You know, I've been sat my ass for years, too afraid. And I don't want to be that person that's too afraid. So that's why I'm doing ROC. That's why I've done all the charity things that I've done over the years. That's why I do used to do my mental health vlogs. That's why I do my poetry. It's why I make my films. I do what I can. Because hopefully by doing what I can, I might inspire someone who can do a whole lot more than me and a whole lot better than me. So yeah, to end, I guess, because I don't know where I've gone with this, I need to watch this back and see if I'm willing to actually put this out. Yeah, we need to be more transparent with mental health, be more honest about what it is we're feeling, and be willing to go and get help. Because the worst thing about this is sometimes we don't know. He wasn't a really close friend, but one of the actors I'd worked with and we knew pretty well never showed any signs of mental health. He seemed happy, he seemed content, but then we literally found out about a month ago that he committed suicide. And I feel bad because I never knew. And that's the scary thing, is walking around the street now, you might pass a multitude of people who are struggling. But we've all got our heads down, we've all got earphones in. We don't take the time just to talk to strangers anymore, and that's why I love this world of motorbikes. You know, because it's weird how these things just bring people together that are meant to be big, scary, macho, manly men, and there we are having a convo about mental health. It's a beautiful world full of beautiful people brought together by nothing but a common interest. Why can't we do that with mental health? That's our common interest. We all want to better ourselves, we all want to improve, we want to be more than we are. And we should help each other achieve that and not be anonymous, dickish trolls who hide behind a screen and have a go at everyone. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. But if you're struggling, I'm going to put the number for Mind on the screen at the end of this. Give me a buzz, but I can't promise I can help you because I'm not an expert. I just wax lyrical about my own issues and hope it helps someone. So yeah, donate to the charity please, and forgive this video.